Where am I? Terschelling. Terschelling in Holland. Terschelling, an old Dutch word meaning theatre laboratory. Yes, indeed. When one thinks of theatre, one thinks of New York, one thinks of London, Paris, Rome. But alas, no. You see, theatre really began here in Holland, in Terschelling. And the whole island is basically an essence of communication theatrically. Remarkable, remarkable series of conclusions and connections with the public itself, with the people who live here. As you can see, they're driving past in various theatrical ways. Every aspect of a Terschelling person has these theatrical elements. Elements of Meyerhold, elements of Goldoni, elements of, well, one could say theatre. One could, but one wouldn't, not at the moment anyway. Here's a very typical Terschelling gentleman. Excuse me, sir. You are there you are, you see.
Time.
He has no time because he's running off to the theatre to deliver that contract for the next Terschelling performance. Remarkable, these Terschelling people. Now, here we have the old Terschelling gate. Now, this, of course, is one of the old gates, traditional uses in the theatrical world. And as you can see, Doorgaan verkeer tijdelijk gestroomd. Don't be late for the performance, it means. And it is open because the performance actually has begun further down the street. This is, of course, Midlands Broadway, one of the most famous streets in theatrical tradition. Hello, hello, nice to meet you all.
Hi.
And you're all probably going to a show, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, so what show are you going to see today?
We don't know. Festival.
Ah, you don't know? The Oerol Festival?
Yes.
Ah, now you see, there is a festival here called the Oerol Festival because it's very important to hear what's going on. Oh, he speaks Dutch. Now let's just hone in on this because Dutch is a local language. It's a very sweet little thing. Nobody speaks it normally, of course. You speak some Dutch?
Yes.
Yes. That was English.
Yeah.
Could you say something exciting in Dutch?
No,
Look, there's one of the Dutch movies just in the background there. It's probably a medieval performance. Some sort of... Guess your click head. Well, there we are. Guess your click head, is it?
Guess
What?
Kiss your black ass.
Kiss your black ass. Well, there you are. See, that's the performance. I think it's going up there. It's probably a multicultural performance. Kiss your black ass. Well, I think we're all going to see it. Shall we all go over and have a look? Jolly good. Strange English words, I don't know what they mean. Now, moving on now, we're going to move towards one of the aspects of what theatre is today. What is theatre? Why do we do it? And that is the question. I have absolutely no idea, and that's why I'm doing television. Now, there are many aspects of theatre, of course. The theatre of cruelty is one aspect. For example, the theatre of cruelty is something which creeps in every now and then into this petty pace from day to day. Time like an illuminated candle, struggling forth, clutch, clutch, clutch. Out I see thee not, but I have thee still. That is, of course, Shakespearean. But here, in Terschelling, it doesn't really matter what sort of theatre is relevant, because there are all kinds of theatre. There are theatre of tragedy, the theatre of comedy, the theatre of stand-up comedy, the theatre of fall-down comedy, and of course, the theatre of all kinds of things which could never taken above the inspector himself. So we are faced with the actual point of view, is what is theatre? Now, theatre could be all kinds of things, and of course the point is, now this is, for example, is one of the interesting parts of theatre today, which is the modern techniques.
Modern techniques.
As we can see, and here is a modern technician.
This is the modern technician.
He usually backs the performer,
Yeah.
and he's switching with the knobs and dials, making sure that the thing functions jolly well.
And sometimes we work together.
Now he's probably moved into his little box,
Yeah.
because they usually have a little box underneath, and they work the thing so the performer can't be seen. I mean, the
50
performer
million
can see.
sperms of this one got through.
So, oh, there we are. There's now. Look, you probably noticed it's his brother who's performing here. Hello.
Hello, how are you? Are you going to do an interview with me? Cool.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
We're from BBC Two.
Okay.
Fayneway Jenkell, you probably recognise me. What's your name?
Mr. Looney Rooney.
Mr. Looney Rooney. Isn't that sweet? Looney. It's got a rhythmic sense to it. Obviously, you're historical tragedian.
I'm a tragedian, yes.
You're British too.
I'm British.
He's
British.
British. Now, isn't that good? It's nice to know that some talent is over here as well. So, are these people your friends?
These are all my friends. In fact, these are all my children.
Well, there's an interesting aspect to theatre nowadays. You see, not only does the actor travel, he travels with his family, which is an old tradition in the theatrical style. Of course, one prefers to have one's wife, one's children, and why not? Traveling can be... now there's some sort of applause going on. I don't know what it is, but, well, I don't know that. Well, anyway, let's carry on now to the Anton Artaud exhibition, which I believe is at the other end of the Midland Broadway. I do believe it. I've just noticed Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's go over now and talk to him. Excuse me. Of course, I don't want to upset you or interrupt you. Of course, you're Leonardo DiCaprio. We all recognize you. And it's very nice that not many people here in Tuskelling are running up to him and asking for autographs. But I think it's very important. Tell me, how did you find about making the Titanic? Was it fun?
Well, it was okay. Yeah, I made a lot of money.
We said
But
we
keep
wouldn't
it quiet.
discuss the Titanic.
My goodness, I didn't even recognize herself. It's Michelle Pfeiffer. Incredible.
And it's why we are here and not, in States.
So actually, we seem to have managed to make a scoop on this little affair that you're having in Tuskelling.
I would not really mention an affair.
Well, no, I mean, of course, you can trust the BBC. We're not going to edit this in.
Yeah.
We'll keep it a little bit loud. You know what it's like in Hollywood. If you want the part, get down. So here we are now, moving on to a different kind of theatre. This is the musical knees up. Now, the musical knees up is often played by various musicians, actors, or people who are out of work, just to make a few bucks on the side. As you can see, it's been received very well indeed, and we're moving in now through the crowd to try and find out exactly what the performance might be. As you can see, this is obviously an electrical performance with using techniques which was never used in the old days. In the old days, there were, of course, all kinds of theatrical entertainments. This particular entertainment is using the modern techniques of... Oh!
Hi.
I didn't know you were here.
Oh, I'm here, the one and only.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's what they said about me, too.
Yeah.
So here we are. This is obviously a performance. Oh, good heavens. This is almost like television now.
Just for the going stimulating funds.
Now,
She's not stimulated enough.
well, I'm sure we could all stimulate something. This is very interesting. Is this the prompter's box? The souffleuse?
Yeah. Hi.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, in theatre, there's always a little box where the prompter lies, hidden, waiting with the words, so if the actor or the actors forget... Pardon? Soloverprompt. Yes, indeed, it's a Soloverprompt in Dutch. And the Soloverprompter is sitting probably in this little box. I almost sat on him. I'm awfully sorry. So, what's the name of your company? What kind of theatre do you do?
We're the one and only Yes.
And you trained, of course, in Stanislavski techniques and Brechtian and...
Aqua jogging ook goed.
Very good. Well, obviously, this is a very specific kind of theatre which you're performing.
Yes.
Jolly good. Well, why not? Is this one of your fans or one of your other actors?
Yes, all the boys like me, and especially how younger the cuter.
Interesting. Very nice.
I'm
well,
18, thank you.
You're 18.
Yes.
18 dog years, perhaps. Well, anyway, I think it is time to move along and see what's further up the Midland Broadway. Thank you so much for the lovely interview.
A big applause!
Now, and let's look over here, because two ladies here who are obviously very famous makeup artists from Dutch television and film. Is that not true?
Yes.
Yeah. And you just speak English? Would you mind talking to the BBC for a second?
Oh, of course.
You do
no,
mind?
don't mind. No.
Well, just because we're British, there's always a foreign thing there. What kind of makeup do you like to do? Have you done any famous stars here in Holland, for example?
We did the couple over there.
Oh, you mean Leonardo DiCaprio and Michelle Pfeiffer?
No.
Because they are over there, you know.
for the Titanic, but
for the
there,
Titanic,
those
yes.
people. People over there, we did.
Ah, I see. And you're waiting now to take it off them, so to say.
Yeah.
Well, this would be very interesting. It
Yes,
would-
we haven't been paid yet.
You haven't been paid yet. Perhaps I can give you something.
No.
We're now almost at the end of the Midland Broadway. As you can see, the theatres on either side are always full of people. In fact, let's go into number 14 and just see what or who is performing there at the moment. Hello, good afternoon. We're from the BBC. Now, of course, biker movies and biker theatre has always been a tradition in Holland, and here we see the original Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper production bikes. When they made the demo. They made a demo before they made Easy Rider, and this was called Simple Cycle. Simple Cycle was the demo which they made later as Easy Rider. And these are some of the simple cycles which they used. Let's have a look now in the Warmbacher, because the Warmbacher is a very important part of theatrical tradition. Actors should be hungry. Before we go in, let's just look. These are obviously not actors because they are eating. Usually actors don't have the money to eat. Are you an actor, sir? Now there you are. This must be a well-fed actor. Are you an actor, madam? No. Are you with this gentleman, madam?
Yes.
Is he a good actor?
Yes.
Is this because he eats heartily?
No.
But why?
Without eating, he's also a good actor.
Without eating? Has he been without food at some point in his life?
Yes.
Because, you know, they do say a good actor has to starve for his profession.
He died last Saturday.
He died last Saturday. This is extraordinary. This reminds me of Banquo, Macbeth, The Witches. He died last Saturday, but he's still with us today. Isn't it remarkable? I mean, he looks so well. Obviously, he's here in spirit in some strange theatrical, metaphysical way. Congratulations, sir. I've never shaken hands with a ghost before, apart from being in Macbeth. Congratulations. So, into the Warmbacher. Now, the Warmbacher, of course, helps actors, like this dead actor here, to feed themselves while they're dead, or perhaps alive. Good evening, how are you?
Hi.
From the BBC. We're just interviewing everybody, interscaling in this famous Broadway part of the island because of this great... here we have the slicing of the bread. Now, this is an old theatrical tradition which the Warmbacher company have been doing for centuries. In the old days, of course, there was only the bread. There was nothing else. And now actors are always looking for bread, and sometimes they get this sort of bread, if they're lucky, in a production. Here we have all kinds of different kinds of bread. We see this is a normal, everyday Warmbacher, fresh piece of bread, which one can take and feed the ducks, or whatever. Now I hear the telephone. Somebody is getting a call from his agent. Is it you, sir? Do you have? He's just. It's obviously. Here we are. It must be for. I don't know which. Excuse me a moment. I'll just. Hello? But they told they run off. It was about to do a film, but I can't do it now, so never mind. Tell me very much. Okay. So, as you can see, all these actors here are great fans of this particular Warmbacher shop because an actor has to eat and drink, and that's why they're all here. If they didn't drink, they'd be dead like the other actor outside. So theatre takes many forms, many shapes, and many designs. It takes many actors, it takes a lot of money, especially when I'm involved, and it takes, above all, the chance to develop one's inner self, to find one's expression, one's expressive mood when one's alone, when one's sad. And here we see a very typical form of expressing it and letting it all out. The theatre of the Polaroid, a new form of Stanislavski approach to the inner self, moving deep down into the inner eye of the soulmate of the interplanetary device. Whoa! 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 Oh, the theatre of cruelty is everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. That was devastating. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness! Did you see this? Perfect. An interconnected, related shape form of theatre, which is absolutely essential to the 90s. Almost a sort of acoustic internet of dimensions relating to each other and somehow disconnected at the same point in unrelated time. Now over here we have the theatrical cemetery, where various performances and actors have at last given their lives and said goodbye to the possibilities of their futures. Well, some of the greatest actors in Terschelling are laying down here, sad, lonely, still trying to remember those lines which they forgot in the third act. And as you can see, it's called Rustplatz. Rustplatz. Rustplatz because some of those actors with those metal limbs are just lying there rusting away, like old actors often do. Old golfers lose their balls. Old actors just rust. And that's all from me, Fayneway Jenkell, for tonight. BBC Two. We hope you're going to remember what theatre is, and I hope I do too. Because at the moment, I don't know what's going on. Good night.
Oh, yeah.